Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're really glad you're joining us today, and a special welcome if you're tuning in as part of the Teacher Victoria ESL class. So today we're diving into something pretty essential for, well, anyone in a workplace, really. It's learning how to say no, without making enemies of your colleagues or your boss. It's all about setting those boundaries, like a pro. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. We've looked at some great advice on workplace communication, specifically for setting boundaries. Have you ever had that thought, like deep down, ugh, this is not my job, Karen? But obviously you knew you couldn't actually say that out loud.
Oh, definitely. That internal monologue is so common.
Right. So we're looking at how to stop your to-do list from becoming like a massive novel while still, keeping the peace at work. That blunt thought, this isn't my job, stop dumping your work on me. It's relatable.
Absolutely.
But here's the tricky part. Even if you're totally right, just blurting that out, it usually makes you look, well, uncooperative, maybe even difficult.
Yeah, it can backfire. It creates tension, doesn't really solve anything. And what's fascinating here, I think, is that this isn't about being dishonest or avoiding the truth. Not at all.
Yep.
It's really about strategic communication, thinking ahead.
Strategic communication, meaning?
Meaning thinking about the outcome you want before you speak, instead of just reacting with that first blunt thought. We basically need to translate that raw feeling into something much more effective.
Right.
Effective for keeping things harmonious at work, and honestly, for your own sanity, too. It's about reframing.
Okay, reframing.
Yeah.
So how do we actually do that? How do we reframe it? This is where I guess those specific phrases come in handy. The whole pick one, dodge one, rephrase one idea.
Exactly. It gives you a framework.
So give us some examples.
Yeah.
What could you say instead? Like you could say something like, that falls outside my current responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty neutral, right?
Mm-hmm. Clear and direct.
Or if you want to be a bit more assertive, maybe. I'd love to help, but honestly, I'm at capacity right now.
Yeah, meaning you're fully booked with your own stuff. It's a valid reason.
Or maybe something supportive, like, let me connect you with the person who usually handles that.
Mm-hmm.
Shows you still want to help, just not by doing it yourself.
That's a great one. Redirecting is key.
And I saw some others like, I want to make sure I stay focused on my key priorities. Or maybe asking, could you clarify how this fits into my current scope?
Yes, those are excellent. Really strategic. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the power behind these phrases is pretty significant.
How so?
Well, they're not just polite ways of saying no. They're actually strategic moves. They help you draw clear boundaries, but without starting a fight.
Okay, less confrontation. I like that.
And they use what you might call ownership language, like saying my responsibilities or my capacity.
Defining your turf, basically.
Exactly. It clearly marks out your professional space. It protects your time, sure, but it also signals where your real value lies.
That makes sense.
And offering alternatives or redirecting, like you mentioned, that shifts you from just being someone who says no to someone who helps find a solution.
So you're still collaborative.
Right. It fosters collaboration, not conflict. And crucially, it stops you from becoming, well, the office doormat, someone everyone just dumps work on.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good in theory, but I imagine it's still kind of tough in the moment. What's the biggest, psychological hurdle people hit when they first try using these?
That's a really good point.
Especially in those awkward situations, like a coworker asking you to finish their report, or maybe your manager suddenly gives you tasks from a whole different department.
Yeah, those are classic examples. And this raises a really important question. How do you manage to be assertive without tipping over into aggression?
Right, that fine line.
It's about learning to say no effectively without making it sound like never, Using I statements helps control the tone. So I need to focus on my priorities. I'm currently at capacity. And redirecting the request instead of just rejecting it flat out.
So back to the coworker example. Instead of just, no, I can't do your summary.
Exactly. You could try, actually, I need to make sure I stay focused on my key priorities right now, but maybe Sarah in marketing handles those summaries. Or whoever is appropriate.
Gotcha. And for the manager?
Maybe something like, okay, I can look into that. Can you help me understand how this fits with my current scope so I can prioritize it effectively against my other tasks?
Asking for clarification.
Smart.
It frames it collaboratively. And always remember, just because you can technically do something doesn't mean you should. It might not be the best use of your time or skills.
That's a huge takeaway.
And, understanding these kinds of nuances in communication, that's exactly the sort of thing we explore in this deep dive, and it ties directly into the skills focused on in the Teacher Victoria ESL class. It's about mastering these vital interactions. Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the main thing we want people to take away from this?
I'd say the core goal is effective communication. Communication that protects your time, protects your role,
Right.
which ultimately leads to less stress for you and lets you focus on what really matters in your job.
So it means you've got the tools now. You can pick one task you can do, dodge one you really shouldn't, and rephrase or redirect another one.
Precisely.
And you can do all that while staying professional and respectful, which is key.
Absolutely key.
So here's a final thought to chew on. Think about how mastering these diplomatic no's doesn't just make your work life smoother, but how it could actually empower you in, well, all areas of your life where you need to set healthy boundaries. It's a life skill, really.
Definitely. It translates everywhere.
We really hope this deep dive was useful for you. Remember, these insights connect back to the practical skills taught in the Teacher Victoria ESL class. And hey, Teacher Victoria would love to hear what you thought about this deep dive and the class itself, so feel free to drop them a message. Thanks for listening.